I think I remember the moment when you felt this, but what was the moment like, I'm a Lions fan, I love this game?
Do you know what? It's going to the copper box, seeing the audience, people from every background, every ethnicity. What you see the audience at the copper box at London Lions game is something very unique.
I know that you're a person, I think we share a lot of the same values in terms of what the actual impact of basketball can be on communities that are largely underserved.
You're absolutely right. I mean, London is a city of more than 300 languages,
Yeah,
right? There's
yeah.
there's every single part of the world. And so, yeah, when you go to those Euro Cup games, you see those communities from London. They're not away fans
Yeah.
coming from those cities.
Yeah.
They're Londoners coming to support those teams. And the vibe is fantastic.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the London Lions Bulletin on Baseline, everyone's favorite part of the show. This is Brian Bosche. I'm here with Lenz Balan, the CEO of the Lions. What's up, Lenz? How you doing?
What's going on, Brian? Nice to see you again. It's really tough to have to sub in with a much less talented player. You had a Zania before, and now
Yep. You've been
it's a real struggle for you.
You've been a great 10-day signing, though. You know, we got you on the 10-day podcast contract through the holidays. We're recording remote as we get through the holidays. We're back in studio next week for the next show. But yeah, you've been doing great for the remote pods. It's been lovely.
Oh, thank you. I'm kind of like careless, but extended for the rest of the season. Maybe
Let's see. Maybe if you do well today, we'll get you an extension. If you keep hitting some
careless.
threes. Yeah, he's doing that. That's not good potting, Lenz. It's already minus 1 point from Lenz. No one can see you.
Really? Okay.
For the YouTube, go to the YouTube and you can watch what Lenz is doing for Careless. But today, another great episode. I have segments specifically for you, Lenz. So this is good minutes for you. We're going to talk about a recap of the games, what's next, a new segment called Start Bench Cut for Lenz, which I'm very excited for. We've got awards once again, and then we'll go into mailbag, another deep mailbag from the fans, and some hard hitting questions.
Are there? I'll do my best to avoid them. I think I'm being media trained by
You'll have to be PR. Yeah, you'll have to be.
Shout out Tracy.
You'll have to do some PR on these mailbags. But first, let's start off with Euro Cup. So we had Euro Cup, and then we had two SLB trophy games in the last week. Euro Cup went to Trento. Tough game against Trento. Devonta Jones scored 33 points, which I actually really like his game. I've watched him for years. I went to his games at Mets 92. I think he's a Michigan guy, right? He's a really good guard. But we lose to Trento. We needed that game too. They're above us in the standings here for this playoff push. Lenz, you were there in person. What was kind of your big takeaway from this Euro Cup loss?
Well, I mean, the biggest takeaway is it's tough to win Euro Cup games when you got big players injured. But probably the positive takeaway is we've got a lot of good guys that are locked in. The coaching staff is locked in. And I think folks really care and they want to work hard. So they think, we've got some really important games. We really need the support of the home fans against Nadish Chemist this coming week. And then on the 21st, I believe we've got a big game against Ulm, Panianos away, and then obviously Le Cabalist. This next stretch of games is really important. So we need our fan support. Again, the good news is guys are locked in, guys care. The coaching staff is working really hard to sort of correct mistakes that we've made before. But I think the injuries kind of piled up on us against on this game. I also think Devontae played out of his mind, and he was really good, really controlled his game, especially in the second half. And again, they're a well-coached, disciplined team. They're a different team than what we saw in the first game.
They've really turned it around. They're 7-5 now.
No, yeah, it's a very different team. It's a good club, but when you just look at Shavar was again, he was really good, 22 and 8 assists, something like that. Dean Williams was incredible. Tariq was solid. I think if we start to, I think the keys to us are cut down the turnovers and then be very, very physical. And this is something Coach Zanis talks about every single game is how physical can we be, especially with our big J3. I know we're going to talk a bit about J3 later on in the show. when he is physical and he's hitting from the beginning, we're a completely different club. So I think that's gonna come through. And then if we reduce the turnovers and stick with the defensive principles, we have a chance to win. So I didn't walk away from it. Obviously, it was a tough loss from us, but I didn't walk away from it thinking, oh, a bunch of negative things. When I walked away from it, it's like, listen, we beat ourselves here, and I think we have a chance to. And what that says is like, there's hope, there's opportunity, and in the next few Euro Cup games, we really have to win. So these are must-win games for us. I feel good. I feel confident about this team. I feel confident about the coaching staff, and I think the trophy games, sort of, if you felt a little bit down about what happened in Trento, the trophy games, there was a lot of positive things to take away from those.
Yeah. Well, Coach Sabonis said this too. He said, we weren't ready to play after Besiktas. And Shavar said this on the last pod, where it's like, how are you feeling now? You took down the number one team in the group, best team in Turkey. You must be feeling pretty good. And he's like, no, like, job is not done. Job is very far away. And he's like, in Euro Cup, a lot of times you win one, you drop the next one, you win the next one. It's a very back and forth. Why is that, Lenz? Why? Like, we beat Besiktas, we're riding a high. Then we have to go on the road, someone else's house. Why is it so hard to put runs together in Euro Cup?
Well, I think these teams Euro Cup is such a high level competition. A lot of really good players, really high quality coaching staffs. These coaches know each other really well. They know it's all their strengths and weaknesses of their opponents. And so I think the quality of the basketball competition, the quality of the coaching is so high. It's at such an elite level that every single game matters, and you have to be up for every single game. And I think when you come off highs like big wins against Besiktas, sometimes that can, you end up in a trap game. And maybe a few good domestic wins, you end up in a trap game. So I think that has an impact. I also wonder, we have a lot of games in the SLB for the number of months that we play. And I just also wonder if like that number of games all compiled in one short period of time has an impact on it. But those are excuses. And in order for us to win, and just like everybody else in Euro Cup, everybody's playing the same rules. And in order for us to win, I'm sure the coaching staff would say, Martinez would say, we've got to be consistent. The difference between getting to the playoffs and getting an upset here or there in the playoffs, upset wins in the playoffs are a function of our ability to stay locked in for every single Euro Cup game. And I think we have the talent to do it. We have the guys to do it. We just have to string all of that together. And look, I believe in these guys. I think we'll get there. But I think you're right. This is a difficult thing to come off that high and then have to play a bunch of games in a row and then have to do it on the road.
Back to Euro Cup. I also I dream of this team being actually healthy. It has been absolutely brutal. That's my one hope is we are in this final playoff push, like you said. Like, we're 5-7. I think we're 7th. We need to get to 6th in the table or above in the group to actually make the playoffs in those 8th finals. And man, if we can just get to March, where we got the whole squad, I hope, back ready, or at least kind of a bigger majority of them. We're just been decimated. It's brutal out there.
Yeah. No, one of the things I'm excited about in this podcast is, one, I think getting Martinez on to just talk about the first half of the season. I think we're going to do that in our next episode and the one afterwards. And then talk about what we're doing forward, getting the coaching staff on a little bit more to talk about it, but also sort of towards the end of the season, talking to EJ and DeMontis and Jordan about what it takes to prep for a team like this and an intense schedule. Because getting guys back and healthy, they've been incredible in terms of getting guys back and sort of healthy and moving forward. But that's going to be really huge for us. But yeah, I agree. I really want to see this team at full strength. That would be really helpful. But on the other end, I think you can feel really good about how other players have stepped up. Whether it's Dean Williams, Aaron Rye, Chase and Randall. I don't know what they gave Chase and Randall, but he was on fire this week.
Are you kidding me? In the trophy final?
It was incredible. So I think that was I was going crazy after that dunk. But I think we've got the guys in the locker room now who can get the job done. And they just have to hold us down and continue to get better. And I think the additional minutes that these guys, the stepped up roles that these guys have played as a result of some of our sort of, I know coach doesn't believe in starters, but our sort of star quote unquote players are. I think will put us in a good position. We just got to get there. Big game on Wednesday. Big game on the 21st. Really need crowd support. Really need people to come out there. If you believe in basketball at top level, you have to come to these games. If you believe in, British basketball players playing at very elite European levels, you got to come to these games. We need your support.
Let's transition over to SLB Trophy semifinals against the Flyers, who I feel like we have played 10, 20 times this season already. Talking to Joel from the Flyers about that. We're like, we just keep playing each other over and over. So we had Friday night game at the Copper Box in London, then Sunday game in Bristol. Great crowd coming out on January 2nd after the new year. Copper Box was full. We were cheering. It was a really good Friday. I love Friday night games, Lenz.
Friday night game. We need more Friday night games on the schedule, and the Sunday games, because that brings the kids. So but I feel
really like great. The kids still come on Fridays too, because there's no school the next day, or it's still a holiday. Yeah. So we had a good group of kids too. Love a Friday night game. We took, and this is when I first moved to the UK and we had the trophy. The aggregate scoring blew my mind. So this is aggregate scoring across two games. We don't have to debate if it's a good format or not. I know there's a lot of talk on social about this, but we win the first leg 77-58. So it took a little bit of the drama out of the second leg. I think we had a 19-point lead there. But Bristol made it interesting. They came out to a strong lead in that. You could tell too. They're like, okay, we have 19 points to fight back here. Let's come out on fire. We're shooting, we're pressing, we're going for it. I think it went down to 5 at one point, the aggregate score.
Yeah.
And we fought back. We took the game 77-76. So good, tough win on the road. I don't even think the win mattered, but we won on aggregate, took it. We are now headed to the SLB Trophy final. Lenz, give me a little bit of sense of what does the SLB Trophy mean for the London Lions? Because Sabonis had a great, locker room talk after this game. What does this trophy final mean to us during the season?
Yeah, I mean, if a coach, that was a great speech from some coach at the end of the game. I think, at the SLB has 3 different competitions. So you've got and 3 different sort of awards to win in our domestic competition. The first one is the SLB Trophy. There's a SLB Cup, which is sort of the cup is similar to what you've seen in most FIBA competitions, and then the playoff games or playoff final are what you would also see in most FIBA competitions. And then you've got sort of your regular season championships based on people's record. The trophy is more of something that you would see more in football. So it's a third competition. I think for Coach Sabonis, first time head coach, doing an amazing job with these guys. I think it means a lot to them. I think for our players, it's important. You're playing in a big arena. These events oftentimes sell out. And so it's a really important showcase for Super League basketball. And for us as the club, I think it's just about building and instilling that sort of winner mentality across the entire season, and getting folks to buy into that every single game. So, one of the things you see our coaching staff, doesn't matter in the second leg, first leg, the coaching staff is coaching their hearts out. The players are playing hard every single game because it's an important part of that sort of winning mentality as a club. And so you want to build momentum in these big competitions, get people excited about them both domestically and then I think that sort of attitude and that perspective sort of bleeds into the opportunities that you have during the European games. I'll also say that, yeah, I agree. We've been playing Bristol for a while. Bristol's another club, I think, on the up. They're building their own arena. I think
they're a fun team to watch.
They're a fun team to watch. They're building their own arena, which I think, I think is going to mean that the quality of their basketball players will continue to go up and up and up. They're obviously playing in the ENBL. And so they've got sort of owners they're an investor-backed club. So they've got, I think, a bright future going forward. And I think the team they've put together really fun to watch. And that's the two Andersons, Joe and Zach Anderson played really, really well. I always like the sort of short guards because I'm a short guy,
So
so
quick too.
really like how quick he is and how hard he plays. So it's a really, I think it's a great thing that we've faced Bristol so many times because I think they've been one of the surprise teams in the league. But yeah, trophy final means a lot. It was against a team that I think has done really well domestically all year. So shout out to Coach Andreas and everybody on their staff, all the players. They've got some real talent there, and they showed a lot of grit.
And I like trophy because it's the doldrums of the season. We're midwinter. It's kind of the middle. It adds some stakes, some excitement to January, which in most basketball seasons, in any competition, in any league, is just like, all right, let's keep the motivation. Let's keep pushing through. These are the rougher part of the seasons. So it was really exciting. It was also really good to see us bounce back from that Euro Cup loss. I think Chase had 15 and then 14 or 16. Yeah. So he kind of led both of those games. It was great to see J3, that second game where Coach Sabonis is like, you're an NBA guy, you're a EuroLeague guy, show it on the court. And he did it that night. And he was huge. The adjustment dunks and the power in the paint. So it's good to see the team bounce back and see, our more recent signings. Lucas Schunas hit 4 threes again. Chasen was on fire. Power this team. So from your perspective, because there's so many injuries, especially in European basketball, there's new signings, there's transfers, throughout the season. What is it meant to have like Lucas Schunas, Chase, and Randall step up, kind of get us through maybe these tougher stretches of the season?
I think it's really important in terms of what Carlos has given us from the 3-point shooting is great, but I think we've talked about this, the consistent sort of effort on the defensive end, how sort of hard he plays. I think that gets everybody up in a way, and I think it's really positive. Chase and Randall, man, like he's been clutch on a few games. He was huge for us in the Cobb list. The last 2 games, he's been amazing. I mean, people forget because I know he played in Rwanda last year. This guy was all-time leading scorer at Stanford. Played in the NBA. Also was I think he won the EuroLeague championship at Barcelona. Am I right about that? Just want to make sure. Real Madrid won a EuroLeague championship. This is a high-level, really, really smart basketball player. And when he comes out and can give us that boost, it makes a huge, huge difference, especially with sort of Ken McGusty being out with his injury. And so, those are amazing confidence games for him. And I think those things help with the entire team as well. So I think it was just really good to see those guys play well and sort of pitching in for us and being such positive influences on the team. The other person I just think I think a couple other people I think are worth shouting out for the SLB trophy are Amin Adamu.
Game winner.
Our homegrown. Was it? He's one of our own. Yeah, exactly. Game winner. Yeah, the chant. But you're seeing him. He's turning the ball over less. He is a spark plug on the defensive end. How hard he was playing Joe Anderson the entire game, I think, sort of set the tone for us defensively. So it was really good to see that. And we're going to need him. He's got that long, incredibly athletic body. If he can be a defensive force in Eurocup and SLB, that'll make a big difference. And obviously, we're always rooting for the sort of British players to play quite well. And then Dean Williams. I mean, Bristol is the club that developed him. Coach Andreas developed him. Shout out, Coach. And he's stepped up in a massive way. He's just been incredible out there. So when he's a force on the offensive and defensive end, it makes a big difference. But the one guy I think we got to shout out is the old MVP Aaron Rye in this one. His hustle plays, how hard he plays. He really lifted the team up in this trophy. So really, really good to see guys sort of step up and make a difference, and then to see the emergence of Dean Williams against his old. And we've seen it all season really, but against his old team is really fun to watch.
So we played the Eagles February 1st, the Newcastle Eagles, February 1st in Birmingham.
It's a great place to have a basketball game. I think the league, Andy Webb and Claire Holmes do a really good job selling it out, creating a good atmosphere. we're tapping into, I think Birmingham's a really important market for the SLB going forward. So I think anytime we can create a really cool event like that in a city where I think we should be wanting to expand into is a really positive thing for what we're trying to build as a league, what we're trying to build as a line. And so I'm really excited for that one, and hopefully we can get some fans to come check us out in Birmingham.
Well, we get 9,000 people usually come to these.
It's
a huge crowd. Newcastle's coming down, Lions coming up. We're gonna get a lot of people.
We're gonna get a lot of people there, so it should be fun to watch. I think the other thing, from the Lions' perspective is, Newcastle kicked us out of the playoff final last year. Shout out Coach Mark Strudel for really having a masterful game against us in that series against us in that semifinals. And they've got their roster has been sort of reconstructed. They've got a lot of good new players that have joined their roster, and they're going to be ready. They really care about this competition for sure, and so it should be a good one. But I think from the Lions' perspective, this has to be a revenge match from last season. From last season's loss in the playoff final, in the last semifinal.
Yeah. Next up, we got awards. Awards of the week. I've got 4 for you this week, Lenz.
All right, cool.
Lion of the Week award, the classic. We also have the Spark Plug award again. I think there were some good Spark Plug candidates this week. Boardman award. Boardman gets paid. This is a new award this week. And then Vibes award, as always. So let's kick it off with Spark Plug award.
Spark Plug.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
My Spark Plug of the week goes to J3.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, he comes on these awards. We talk about J3 a lot. He is so important to this team as our big man. And for him to, struggle a little bit in the Euro Cup game at Trento and then come back and just be a dominant force, especially in that second leg of the SLB trophy. And especially after the Besiktas win, his incredible game against Besiktas.
He was unbelievable against Besiktas, yeah.
But this one, he just put his foot down, and he was the dominant force. And Coach Sabonis talked about that afterward, where J3 was really kind of that first highlight for him of really being like, if you play like that, that makes us special. Yeah. So J3, he's my spark plug. When he steps up like that against the Besiktas in the SLB Trophy semifinal, it makes such a massive difference for this team. So yeah, he gets my spark plug of the week award. Yeah.
He just decided that we were not going to lose that game. And then just willed us to win. And when J3 wills us to win, we're completely different.
Because we were down 15,
yeah.
14.
We're down 14. And he just decided that he was going to dominate.
But yeah, Spark Plug Award, J3. Hats off to you, man. That was a big game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Next up, Boardman Award. As Kawhi famously said for you NBA fans, Boardman gets paid. Boardman Award, to introduce this to you, Lenz, is about someone. It's not just about rebounds. It's about someone doing the dirty work. They're cleaning the glass. They're diving on the ball. They're the ones that are doing the little things, the things that probably make Coach Sabonis happier than anything else on the court, and that have a big impact on the game. My Boardman of the Week award goes to Aaron Rye. This is a carryover, but especially these last few games, 10 boards in trophy, then 6 more. He's leading the team in rebounds for a lot of this. This has been a carryover too, because he had those 3 huge offensive rebounds against Besiktas. In Euro Cup, he has limited minutes and he's still getting these boards against these giants because he's 6'6", 6'5", 6. He's not 6'7". So he's not a big, he's not a traditional big in these competitions, and he is just fighting for these balls. So Boardman of the Week is Aaron Rye for me.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with the guy who's come up with so many clutch rebounds over the last few weeks. But yeah, Aaron Rye, absolutely can't disagree with that. Anything about Aaron.
It helps when I create the award based on someone's performance, so it's hard to pick other people for that. We'll go. I want to hear what who is your Lion of the Week award? What are you going to do this week, Lion? This is a tough one. There's a lot of good performances here.
A lot of good performance, but I mean, Jason Randall has found the fountain of youth. I mean, one of the things I think our content team did a good job is is seeing people's reaction to his 2 dunks in the first leg of that game.
Yeah.
Man, when Jason decides that he is going to be a factor in the game, he's very difficult to stop because he's such a good shooter. He's such a smart player. And then to see him get up in those ways in those 2 games, you could see that it lifted everybody up, and people got so excited about it. Yeah, I got to go with Chase Orlando. He's just an amazing guy, and to see him perform at that level, it's just really I think it picks everybody up because he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
And obviously his talent level is really, really high. So it's really good to see Jason playing at this level.
Yeah, he's mine too. He's not only hitting the big shots, he's very consistent from 3 now, which has been for a while, since that Likibelis game. He is such a good presence on the court, in the locker room, such a mature guy. He's just like the classic vet that you need on the team. And I went up way high in the arena for his fast break dunk. And I'm like tracking him in the ball. And I'm like, oh, what's he doing? And you see him go up for that dunk, like it wasn't a wide open, it wasn't a clear lane. He went up and dunked on someone. And I was like, oh, vet point guards are not supposed to do that on fast break,
Exactly.
Like maybe a pull up 3. But yeah, I think he had 2 dunks in that game. And I think he credited it to one of the credits was like the promo video. He got hyped up for the game. The crowd was good. So yeah, we'll take credit for that on the content side. Content team gets credit for those dunks.
Yeah, shout out Derek for that for our new opening content video. I think that was really cool. But yeah, I think people have to come early for these layup lines because he also mentioned how guys Dean comes in crazy between the legs dunk, and they're just doing crazy. Tariq at the game against Bristol, we didn't get a great shot of it. Throws the ball off the wall and then dunks it. So I thought that after the Tariq warm-up dunk, that might inspire Chasen to have a dunk in that second leg, but no dunks there. But he's so, no dunk in that second leg, but he was great. He's pulling up and pull up step back threes, hitting shots in rhythm, making the right reads, right passes, and again showed that defensive effort. So it's really good to see him. Line of the week, I agree with you.
Line of the week. And then I like to end on the Vibes Award. Who's got good vibes for you right now? You've been with the team. You've been traveling with them a lot. Who's giving off good vibes?
Good vibes. I mean, there's so many guys giving off good vibes. It's just a good vibes. I think the coaches there's just there's not one bad dude on this team. Like everybody is,
especially in so many injuries. You think there'd be more frustration, but no, good vibes. Team.
Guys are locked in. You know what? I'm going to give, I know you're probably going to give this to a player. In fact, I know who you're going to give it to, and he's definitely deserving of it.
Stop reading nonsense.
I'm going to give it to Coach VP.
Nice.
And the reason why I'm going to give it to I was with Kai. I was sitting next to him, and they were playing a song, and Coach VP was doing this little dance. And Coach VP has some rhythm.
He's an athlete.
He has some rhythm, so I just thought that was really, really funny. He's such a positive presence in that locker room, and he's such a great person. He sort of believes in everybody's potential. That's my impression of him so far. I just kind of mix it up. But I know who you're going with, and I agree with you.
The player I'm giving to is Dean. Dean's just like we said. He's doing everything across the court. He's doing everything for the team. He's just been a great, consistent player, presence, personality, positive vibes all the time. He always tries to sneak in that just incredible, crazy block or dunk. That dunk he went for, I think it was in Bristol, right? Like he just tries to go.
He went for 2 dunks. The 2 dunks he went for, I was just like.
He's trying to dunk from the free throw line. Yeah, he's trying to do crazy stuff, which I appreciate for vibes. Because you want to have someone on the court that can just do something crazy every game. So yeah, Dean's my guy. Dean Williams is my vibes of the week award.
I think Dean on the vibes of the week award is his ability on the defensive end makes such a big difference that he can guard. He can basically guard 1 through 5 if he has
fastest player on the team, self-proclaimed.
So incredible athlete, but I think when Dean is relying on his basketball intellect and IQ more than his athleticism, it's scary.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of ways he can always catch up to somebody with his athleticism and block a shot, but when he decides to keep somebody in front of him, that's a completely different basketball player, and it makes us a completely different team. So yeah, Dean is such an important part of this team, and I think it's just really fun to watch him.
He's my calming presence. Like when Dean's on the floor, when Dean's I'm just feeling good. When Dean's feeling good, I'm feeling good. So he gets my vibes of the week.
And you just saw it. There was a part where we were sort of down against Trento, and he's just so into. He's just firing guys up, getting them really excited. So, yes, I think Dean was a good choice. Well done.
I'd also like to thank Ryan Mikesell. Went back to his old club, so we just made that announcement. Really enjoyed getting to know Ryan. Really classy guy, really good player. But yeah, wish him the best of luck as he goes back to Germany. Right, I forget what his old club called. I'll check it out. But it is funny. We had some of the questions of the week were his fans from his old club asking if they could have him back, and their wishes granted. So
yeah,
best of luck, Ryan. Best of luck on your.
Yeah, best of luck, Ryan. He's a great guy. Yeah. The injury kind of made the season a little bit difficult for him, but he's always had that positive energy. He's a very, very talented basketball player. And so, good luck in back at your old club.
Yeah, we're going to miss your presence. Also great vibes award guy. Let me pitch this to you. This is specifically because you're on. I can't do this with Zany. I can't do this with our co-hosts. It's called Start, Bench, Cut. All right? So you get to start, bench, and cut my terrible ideas that I want to pitch you for them.
Okay.
You got it?
All right.
So you have to give a definitive statement after each one.
I have a feeling that if I cut anything or bench any of these ideas, you're going to put a follow-up meeting on my calendar. And
there will be a lot of follow-ups to whether we get this or not, which will be great. Okay, number one. Can we mic you up for one half? CEO mic'd up. I want to hear what you're saying on the side. I can see you go crazy on the baseline. You're next to Martinez. You're next to I want to mic you up for one half. Start, bench, or cut.
Cut. I'm not doing that.
I thought I had you. I was trying to start with a win. What are you most scared of?
Well, I mean, there's two things. I'm not sure people want to hear from me. I think people would be much more interested in hearing from Coach Sabonis.
But everyone does mic'd up. Coaches are. I want Garmer to be mic'd up. I want Lacob to be mic'd up. I want crazy owners to be the CEOs, the presidents. I want to hear what they're saying. Everyone gets players. I want to see what the CEO is saying.
I'd love to. You should get mic'd up as Coach Gonzalez. Coach G sits next to me every game.
She would be fun too.
First of all, he's obviously a basketball legend and knows a lot about the game. Loves to kind of give me tidbits about what's going on and what's happening, which I really enjoy. But he's just funny. He's just the one part that I think is really, I always sort of kick at him is when he makes sure the team knows that we have fouls to give. Fouls to give.
That's what I was going to say. That's all he does. No foul. No foul. Fouls to give. He makes sure everyone knows all the time. That is what his
all the time.
He
is really good, but you don't want to hear me talking to the poor refs. I
know you get fined.
I get really fired up.
Should we live stream you? We'll put a little camera right in front of you on that bill. Okay, we're starting.
I think maybe that's a switch it out to Coach Jake.
Okay, so maybe bench on the overall idea. Next one. This is from my childhood. Put yourself in the shoes of a fan. You're in Copperbox Arena. We're doing half court shots. We're doing giveaways. But when you're in we do some t-shirt tosses and things, but that's not really going up to the upper bowl. In arena blimp dropping prizes on fans.
Wow. I love that idea. I don't see Copperbox doing it, but yeah, I'd say start that idea.
I had this as a kid.
They have a lot of I don't know. We have a lot of requirements, health and safety stuff. I think we probably need approval, but I love the idea.
It was when I spent a lot of time in Denver growing up, and at the Pepsi Center at the time at Nuggets games, they would have this blimp fly around, and it would like have like courtside tickets and a letter attached to this little to this mechanism that would drop it. And the whole game, maybe this would distract from the game actually, but you're like waiting for when's the letter going to drop, and they drop it at random times and everyone go crazy underneath. So that's blimp. That's my next idea.
Oh.
So we're going to start it. All right. Well, we'll talk to copy. Next one. This one is inspired by Like Mike, classic basketball movie. If you haven't seen it, Lil Bow Wow. Can we keep a player on the court at halftime to play one-on-one against a random fan? Find our own Lil Bow Wow. Find our own Like Mike. One-on-one, player versus fan.
No, that's a cut. That's it. I don't even have to go.
Why not, Lenz?
Can you imagine? Well, there's a lot of, The first thing is, with all the injuries that we've had this season, the last thing you want is
so it shouldn't matter. They're already getting injured. Might as well do it with a fan on the court.
No, absolutely. These are, it's a funny idea. It's a fun idea, but I do think that but this is there is an interesting thing where I tend to want to push the boundaries, and Martinez usually slows that down because at the end of the day, we are a professional basketball team playing at an elite level, and you've got to treat these guys like professionals because they are.
And they can showcase
some of these things
against the fan. We can really show what the talent differential is.
I think the fans know what the differential is.
Maybe a youth player. Maybe we'll figure something out.
Yeah,
bench it. Cool. Bench it for now.
You already benched one thing. Are there only 3 options here?
Yeah, but I have like 10, so you can start bench it. Anyway.
All right.
Okay, next one. Not instead. We'll have the scoreboard. Okay, so we have the traditional scoreboard. It shows boring things like player stats, fouls, score, time left. We should have one.
Those are exciting things.
Well, it's very traditional.
Traditional. Yeah.
We just have next to it, or maybe instead of for a quarter, you can decide just a vibes board. And maybe it's a vibe score, maybe it's a certain pattern. And we get someone like Hamish to just decide on what are the vibes right now. Maybe Azania does it while she's calling. Someone in arena, maybe Stan. What are the vibes? You know how they have the loudness meters sometimes?
Yeah.
It's just a vibe score.
Love the vibes board. Not against, would love on the Jumbotron, if you can create some space on the Jumbotron. Yes, absolutely not on the scoreboard. We're a professional basketball team. We have to have
next to the scoreboard
those things. I don't know if we have enough space next to the scoreboard because you really want to make sure that the players can see things
next to the shot clock. Players can see how much time is left in the shot clock and the current vibes.
I don't want to distract them. I think the Jumbotron is the right place to do it.
Okay, vibes on the Jumbotron. Halftime. Every kid in the arena runs down to half court and all dances to Peanut Butter Jelly Time simultaneously. 30 seconds, get all their energy out, sprint back into the stands after the song's over.
I don't know. That's kind of a cool thing over a Sunday, and I don't know if it's Peanut Butter Jelly Time. I don't know if the kids know what that is anymore. The kids are all doing this now.
It's just the 6-7. It's 6-7 midcourt.
Like every time we put the dance cam on, we'll put a salsa dance cam on. The kids go
just 6-7. Just a 6. Everyone just goes 6-7 crazy at half court. We would get roasted for that. And then we'll just have like a little Zamboni clean up all. See, my concern is that the floor will get slippery. So So I've had.
You need to get the machine.
The Zamboni basketball court Zamboni is the next idea.
We have something like they do that before the last game, where somebody
Zamboni. You're actually driving it, and you're
there was a thing that somebody was driving that was cleaning. Yeah.
And then a fan ride along on the basketball court Zamboni, where you get to ride on the Zamboni like an NHL game.
I don't think it's that exciting, but yeah, sure.
Bench. Okay, we can bench that. Next one, we start a new thing. This becomes maybe the Lions thing, where our fans do not cheer during any offensive possession, no offensive buckets, no dunks. We only cheer on defensive plays.
Whoa.
It's silent, just to really emphasize our defensive focus. You only cheer on defensive plays.
Is this Paula and Sabonis and VP's idea?
It could be.
I think this is the coach's idea. I think the coaching staff would love it. No,
Maybe start or let me dumb it. Let me make it more realistic then. To start the second half, we only cheer until there's a steal, a block, a great defensive. No one cheers for any offensive play until we get that pivotal defensive play. We got to value.
I like
defense.
the idea. I like the idea because we are a defensive team. This is what the coaching staff wants. Let's put it on the bench for now. Because look, if somebody does something, if Jason Randall dunks again, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm going to lose my mind.
Okay, we'll bench that
be
one.
cheering.
But let's workshop that one. Let's start that one and workshop it. That could be a thing. We'll work on it. And that was start, bench, cut. We'll see if people like it because I have about 100 more that I can go through. So we'll work on that next.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
All right, we're going to end with a quick mailbag. So we put out a call for questions again. A lot more good ones. A lot of them are for you, Lenz. This is you're the right person to answer.
Well,
so I'm going to start out with UK Hoops fan, who's always commenting. Thank you for listening. He's been a great fan online, or whoever they are. UK Hoops fans.
What's up, UK Hoops fan?
Where do you see the club in 5 years, Lenz? And I'm going to time box you. No 30-minute CEO talk. I need a succinct answer here. Where do you see the London Lions in 5 years?
I think I see the London Lions as a global sports brand. I see kids in Queens, New York, or Los Angeles wearing London Lions gear. I see us playing at the absolute top level of European basketball. I see a massive community center that has impact on kids who are massively underserved. I see a player pathway where kids are regularly playing against Adidas Next Gen. I see a full club that is thriving, that's having a positive impact on the community, that is filling up our arena every game. That is the objective. And probably more importantly, that is a global brand. This is London. It is one of the biggest, best cities in the world. There should be multiple top globally recognized basketball teams in this country, potentially in this city. So, I think the Lions have a place to exist. We're working really hard towards it. We've got this growing sort of fan club, and there's a ton of work to do, but I see us as a global basketball fan doing a lot of good for a lot of kids, and creating the best entertainment experience you can have in sport.
That was great. That was a good elevator pitch.
Well, that was so real. Thank you.
I like it. All right. Thanks, UK Hoops fan. The next one is from Richard. So, Richard, thank you again for submitting.
Well, let me ask you this, Brian. Where do you see the?
Where do I see it? I'm very aligned. I think we're very aligned on this. I see these brands, like your Wrexhams, that come out that have kind of that global appeal or appealing to an audience outside of their local league, outside of their local community. So I would love to see the Lions become kind of that UK. If you follow London, because a lot of people, especially me coming from the States, us coming from the States, you look to London for a lot of this. Like you grew up with Premier League, you grew up with these clubs, these iconic clubs in Europe. And so learning more about EuroLeague, learning more about European hoops, I would love to see London do that. But I think the thing that most excites me, especially being a dad in the UK now, is like, can we develop that talent pipeline? Can we get kids to make it to the NBA, to make it to the top levels in Europe? That I think would excite me most, because I think that completely changes a country's perception of a sport. And we're seeing that in France, where 2 consecutive number 1 picks are, you got Wemby, you got Sarr, you got Bilal Koulibaly. You just have so many of these French superstars. I would love to see that in London, where the NBA Paris game last year, Wemby's playing. It was insane. The level of passion, the level of excitement around him playing in Paris, in France. We have the NBA London game this year. I want to bring London hoopers to London to play in these games. The Wagners get to go play in Germany. We need our version of that. Wemby gets to go to France. The Wagners get to go back to Germany. So I think that excites me most in 5 years. And it'll take longer than 5 years, obviously, to develop that talent. But getting to a place where those, that infrastructure is in place is, what I'm really excited about.
Yeah. I think for the Lions, we've always been about, we need to completely push the envelope and swing big, because if we don't do that, so many kids are going to be underserved. So many kids who deserve it will be underserved. And there's so much talent in this city that you and I will look at, we'll go to a place and like, man, if that guy was born XYZ plays, he'd be in the NBA or he'd play in EuroLeague, that kind of
You just
thing.
identify the talent earlier.
Yes, and we can do that. And I think we, because we're, it's in the the incentives for us to develop that kind of talent is really high because we need EuroLeague, maybe NBA Europe level talent. So that's gonna require building a pipeline of those players. And so that's what the Adidas Next Gen is about. That's what the NCC partnership is about. So yeah, I think that part is really important. You kind of have to do all of these things, which is why
A lot of work
we're
to do.
working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It feels like
A lot of work to do. Okay, next question we have is from Tall Person 97. Can we make food and drink cheaper at the Copper Box? And the answer is no, we can't.
No, we can't. We have, Copper Box is a really important partner for us, but there are all kinds of sort of unique restrictions that we have as a result of being a tenant itself. We don't make any money on food and drink. We don't get any revenue, of course, associated with the venue. We don't have control over our dates. So these are things that we're constantly working on. How do we improve? What can we do as a team to improve the Copper Box experience? I hope fans have seen that we invested quite a bit in that, and we'll continue to sort of do the best we can in our as the London Lions and make sure it's a top entertaining product. I think to be fair, I think we've done a really good job this season in having a consistent, high quality product between the cheerleaders. We're bringing out a mascot finally, the jumbotron, the lighting, the
DJ, MC,
drummer groups. So all the stuff, we're really trying to create a premium experience for our fans, and we're constantly working on it. You guys have no idea how much time we spend on planning for the game days. Shout out to SportsSearch for being an important partner though. But it's really important to improve that in-game experience. So keep them coming. Questions about how we can improve it and make it better for our fans. There, we are completely dedicated to making it the best fan experience we can within constraints that we have.
I like that question though, because it does help people understand the business of the Lions, business of basketball. We don't control concessions, and we don't make any money from the concessions, which I think, when we talk about building a new arena, that is important to control that experience and to have, complete management of it. That's
and it's also important in terms of how can you invest in growing your audience, growing the fan base, investing in players. I mean, those additional revenue streams are really, really important. And top clubs are really dependent on that. So that's why those arena projects it's so critical for us.
Yeah. Next question is from Richard. He's asking what clubs like the Lions can do to support athletes in the UK or support their own players. Really like this question from Richard. Really personal branding, marketing question. You want me to take this
personal brand? Yeah, you go ahead.
I'm working on your personal brand, Lenz. So we'll get there. But I do think it's really important for the clubs to help their players kind of achieve whatever goals they have, on social and their personal branding. From the London Lions perspective, you have people like Aaron Rye. Love Aaron. Had him on the pod. I would not say he is someone who craves to grow his audience and kind of build that personal brand. He's the kind of guy who's going to go back to the apartment, build some puzzles, to do his personal, passion projects, versus people like maybe Shavar, who we've had on host a couple times, like really enjoy, that part of being an athlete, kind of talking about the sport. So I do think it is, how do we empower all the players to achieve whatever the goals they have, not just when they're in the Lions, but they're for their career in general. So maybe they do want to go into media after they're a player. Maybe they want to launch a retail brand or some sort of commercial brand themselves. Maybe they just really like being creative and, starting their own vlog like Ovi on his YouTube channel, or really like to create content. Maybe they're an artist. So I do think it is for the Lions, helping them decide what their passions are, what their personal brand, wants to be. How can we support that? And that only helps the Lions, as they build out their brands and kind of build out their presence, because they can kind of show fans what they're about and get fans to enjoy watching the Lions. So that's kind of my take on it, Lenz. And we'll work on yours too. We'll get you back producing content individually.
No, I think we want to be, to the extent that we can. It is so busy, and we get it ramped up. It's tough, but to the extent that we can help these guys, we want to help them in every way possible. We're trying to build this professional setup as we can. We definitely do it in terms of taking care of players' bodies, making sure they're in the best shape. We definitely try to do it with our content. Like, yeah, if a player does want help in terms of doing that, I think our team is really open to trying to help them do that. The second question is, what can brands do better to support athletes in the UK? I think it's just about getting brands on board with what we're doing. And I think our ability to get brands on board are a function of what we do in terms of content. And that's why we spend so much time and effort in generating really cool content that is sort of relevant to basketball fans, but also relevant from a culture perspective. And that's where having those creatives sitting courtside has a huge impact, because that kind of stuff helps us to attract brands on and get them excited. And once you get those brands excited because we're playing in premium elite competitions, those premium elite competitions are featuring UK athletes as well as American athletes or European athletes. The quality of our game days are at a really high level. You can do all of those things, and it'll attract more brands. And then once you attract those brands into the ecosystem and they fall in love with sort of what we're doing, it's easier to start to build up the brands of people, men's, women's, youth academy, all of that stuff. And so I think it's just, you got to push the envelope in terms of the competitions you're playing. You have to have really good players. Those players have to include GB players. You got to have really good content, and then you've got to build a community. And I think that's where the sort of Adidas Next Gen team over time will sort of look like, and our academy team over time looks like. But it's just about building something that people are attracted to, and that requires major European competition and all the things that we're trying to accomplish at the live.
Yeah. Good question, Richard. And I think that's all the time we have for this. We have a lot more mailbag, but we'll try to answer everyone's kind of as we get through these different episodes. But again, thanks again for listening and watching the Lions Bulletin. Lenz, thanks for joining. I think you did. I'll give you had a good grade this time. Good minutes off the bench.
Appreciate it. You were rock star always, Brian.
I would have appreciated a few more starts on the start bench cut, but we'll work on that later. We'll do that later. Thanks, everyone.
I think you already knew how that was going to go.
I know. I did. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And go Lions.
Welcome, everybody, back to Front Office. You are here with myself, CEO Lenz Balan, and with my guy here.
Hi, everyone. I am Nadeem Javaid. Thanks for having me, Lenz. And thank you for dressing up for me. I normally will come to your games wearing the best sneakers and casual wear. And today I wore a tie and you didn't match my energy.
Sorry, my bad, bro. But I prefer the Jordans. I think the Jordans look better on you. Nadeem's got an amazing Jordan collection for people who don't know. So he always pulls.
I love the basketball coach, though. Yeah.
Well, I guess one of the first things I always want to do is get people to know you and your story. So where you from? And I would love to get everyone to know how did you end up on this journey?
I mean, I for your viewers who don't know me, my name is Nadeem. I work for the Mayor of London's office as the Mayor's Global Director for international relations and for community relations in the city. I'm a London boy through and through. I was born in the city. I was born in the East End of the city, in some of the poorest neighborhoods. This job for me it's more than a job. It's my passion. It's this is a city that I love. I consider it to be the greatest city in the world, and it's an absolute honor and privilege for me to make sure that I can give back to the city in various different ways, whether it's through helping basketball, or bringing the best events to the city, or bringing major investment into the city, and making sure our communities are able to flourish just like I have had to flourish.
It's amazing. Well, I mean, you've done some amazing things. We're going to talk a little bit about NBA Europe and brought some give people a sense of the kinds of events and some of the stuff that you've been responsible for in terms of bringing into this amazing city.
Yeah, I mean, we consider London to be, the best city in the world, the sporting capital of the world, the music capital of the world. And some of the events that we've managed to bring to the city are things like the UEFA Champions League finals, the men's and women's Europe tournaments. In January 2026, we're bringing the NBA back to London, which is going to be fantastic after a few years away. We're responsible for bringing NFL to the city. And so more and more events, and all of these events have, massive impact, not only about bringing investment to our city, but making sure they leave legacies
Yeah.
for the communities as well.
Yeah. And that like kind of leads me into the transition about like sort of basketball. Like you've been in London for a long time. Um, in your experience, what had you known about basketball up until when we started when we met? What was basketball like growing up in London?
So I've got to be honest with you, I'm a new fan of basketball. So basketball wasn't really on my radar, other than a few kind of hoops in the local parks around where I live. And by the way, those hoops are poorly serviced and
Yeah.
poorly managed. So you're often competing with people playing football on some of those hoops. But it wasn't until I started to learn about the London Lions, and going to a couple of your games, learning more about your culture, what you're trying to bring to the city, did I start to become more and more of a basketball fan. And obviously, I know about the NBA, it's a global brand. But the real passion of basketball that came to me was through London Lions and through, what we could do here domestically.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the moment where you're like, I think I remember the moment when you felt this, but what was the moment you're like, I'm a Lions fan. I love this game.
Do you know what? It's going to the Copper Box, right? And it's seeing the audience, who are from every walk of life, right? There's like young and old, intergenerational people from every background, every ethnicity. That audience reflects London. And I go to lots of live sporting events, and what you see the audience at the Copper Box at London Lions game is something very unique to a London Lions game. You don't see that. You don't see that at many live events.
Yeah.
It's often live events are kind of sometimes they're expensive. So there's a barrier for people to come. But what you have at the Copper Box is this roar of the crowd from every part of London, from every walk of life, all there for the same reason and cheering on that basketball team.
Yeah.
And that's the moment I fell in love with that team.
Yeah. No, I think I would have thought you would have said the Paris game.
Oh
Because
man, that game
such
was
the
amazing.
Paris game with
Yeah.
Sam Decker and the half court shot. But I
Yeah.
feel like that when people say, "Oh, I'm now a fan," like that was
Yeah.
the turning point
Yeah.
for people to start to engage in our club in a way that I don't think they had before.
That final buzzer beating,
Yeah.
score was just the atmosphere. I remember you jumping off your seat and going absolutely crazy. And it was what a night. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And one of the things when you talk about sort of, I know that you're a person, I think we share a lot of the same values in terms of what the actual impact of basketball can be on communities that are largely underserved. But, I also kind of think that the European games have created this, have actually reflected the global diversity of the city. So you go to our domestic games, you're right, young, old, black, white, Asian, all kinds of people coming to have this experience. But I feel like those big international games bring and like this completely, it really brings out the globalism, which is a different kind of diversity that I think is very unique about London.
Yeah.
That it's hard to get in other places.
You're absolutely right. I mean, London is a city of more than 300 languages, right? There's every single part of the world belongs to London.
Yeah.
And so when you go to those Euro Cup games, like if you go to when the Turkish teams are here, or when the Greek teams are here, or an Eastern European team, you see those communities from London. They're not away fans coming from those cities. They're Londoners coming to support those teams. And the vibe is fantastic. I remember seeing flags from every country. I went to a Turkish game quite recently, and the Turkish flags and the people coming out from across the city, coming to be part of that, showcase the community, celebrate their diversity, but still cheering for the Londons as well.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I think actually that international competition has created this this sort of new group of people who are interested. Like if I live in sort of West London, there's lots of Turks, soon as all the Turkish people know who the London Lions are, and that's because we played playing Besiktas on Wednesday.
That's right.
We played Besiktas and Turk Telecom, and I think that to me is is just really, really, I don't know, it's a really special and unique thing about how those playing in international competitions
Yeah.
on a regular basis. I think the NBA stuff is amazing, on a one-off basis coming, but on a regular basis,
Yeah.
I think really brings out the.
And I think what
beauty
you
of London.
find is no other city in the world could do that.
Yeah.
And that's what's unique about London, and that's why the Lions are such an important part of making the city what it is.
Yeah. Well, we came through what it was a very difficult period. The London Lions did, and we came out of it with some amazing new investors, in Tom and Tessanet. And one of the things that I thought was really, heartening was, you and the mayor's office supported us immediately. And I don't even know how to thank you guys for that support after coming out of a tough period. Why did you think it was important to do that?
Look, I think basketball is intrinsically a really important sport for our city. You know this better than I do. It's the second most team played sport after football. But there's kind of like a cutoff when it comes to basketball. You get to about 10, 11, maybe 12. And then kind of like the resources for you to play basketball, the access for you to play basketball kind of like diminishes. And so we thought that basketball is one of those things that it benefits so much. It benefits young people in getting active. It can be a way for deterring people away from violence. It encourages teamwork, but it's also, this is one of those sports where if you learn to play basketball, it can then translate into any kind of pro athleticism. And so we thought that basketball is a pathway for young people to do so much more. And the London Lions brand is exactly what the city needs. And so, when you had a tough time, we're waiting for you to rise from the ashes like the phoenix that you are, and make sure that we can support you as administration, because there's so much important community work that you do. There's so much more that you can do as a club. And the thing about London is this is what we call the London Promise, right? London is the greatest city in the world, and the reason why it is because if you work hard, right, and you get a helping hand from City Hall and the Mayor's office, there's nothing that you can't achieve, right? That's why the son of a bus driver has become the Mayor of London. And so we're the helping hand, you're the hard work, right? And so between us, there's so much more that we can achieve together, but not just the Lions being a great basketball team, all the community work that you do, all the academy work that you do. And so it's so much bigger than, the 1 hour that you have on the court. It's everything around it. And that's why it's important that we help.
And then to that end, you started up with the Mayor's Taskforce for basketball, which, is this, it's such a cool thing to be a part of that program. You want to tell people a little bit about why did you set up the task force for basketball? Who are the people involved? And would love to kind of talk about
Sure. The task force was something that we've been thinking about for a long time. And there was this moment where the mayor and I were in New York. We were out there, banging the drum for London. And one of the meetings we took was at the NBA. And we met with the Deputy Commissioner, Mark Tatum, and we went into his office. And by the way, he has the most fantastic office, right? It has like memorabilia. It has, I was completely geeking out. I could not concentrate on that meeting. And one of the things that he had on his desk was this, was a Kobe Jordan collab, and of the sneakers. And I was just like, man, I just want to take this home. Anyway, I digress. And so we talked about how we can grow the sport in the UK and specifically in London. And so between us, we decided that we would create a task force who would look at, what are the barriers for the sport growing, what opportunities exist, and how do we bring the basketball community together to take ownership, with our help in growing the sport. And so we announced the task force. We quickly put it together. And you thanks for sitting on the task force as an important participant of it. And what we want to do is grow the game, make sure that basketball is a sport that everyone can participate in, everyone can love the same way that we do. And one of the it was born out of the NBA office in New York, and one of the reasons why we were so keen on setting it up is because we wanted the NBA to come back to London. And so the task force was really demonstrating to the NBA how serious we were about basketball in London. And we ticked that box because the NBA is coming back in January. The Grizzlies will play Magic at the
You
O2
couldn't get my
Arena.
Celtics there.
I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about Boston teams when it comes to sports. And so it's going to be
They're the best.
fantastic. It's going to be fantastic.
Nice. No, I think it's been, I think the task force is really full of some really interesting people. Folks like Sam Nieder, who does a lot of community work. You've got folks within the NBA office, it's key people, key members of your staff. Well, Dang's involved in the task force. So there's just this really interesting sort of mix of people. I feel like there's a lot of different things that have come out of the task force in terms of what all the barriers are. And it's almost surprising because I wear a, London Lions hat on. It'd be like, I want to build a club that is befitting the city, playing in top competitions, whether it's Adidas Next Gen at a young age or our senior men's and women's teams. But there's so many other things that get uncovered in those conversations because honestly, these different communities are super siloed. What Basketball England is focused on is what Basketball England is focused on. And it means what Bucks is focused on. And we've got Amanda, who's amazing from UEL, is what they're focused on. One of the things I found is like actually getting everybody in a room together, even though everybody starts off with like whatever, what I bang the drum about.
Right, yeah.
But then all of a sudden, all of these new issues crop up. And then a bunch of synergies actually happen. It starts off as like, I'm just talking about my book,
right? Yeah,
and then it starts to get like, actually, these problems are, they're all together. Have you had that experience as well?
I mean, definitely. I mean, it's such a powerful thing, isn't it? Convening all of these people, and being able to just look at it from a bird's eye view and holistically, and just say, okay, we could work together. I mean, wheelchair basketball is a great example. We've got the chief executive of wheelchair basketball in our task force.
Fantastic.
She's fantastic, and the way that she can so passionately articulate the issues facing wheelchair basketball, and it's not unique to just wheelchair basketball. You have those same barriers, and so how do we take those problems together and try and resolve them? And that's why it's so important, and the diversity of that task force as well. Not only looking at wheelchair basketball, but looking at kind of like barriers of entry from a broad range of issues. Those meetings are definitely fantastic, really fascinating. And I'm looking forward to kind of like what we're going to do over the course of 2026.
Yeah. And about my hobby horse, the one that I always talk about, which is what? Facilities. I guess actually, let me go back to it a second. Like, what do you think, having become a new fan of basketball, fan of the London Lions, and building that relationship with Mark Tatum in the NBA, what do you think you've learned the most in terms of what the real barriers are? Because I know like your instincts are always right. It's like I believe that the basketball not succeeding is a social justice issue as well as an economic issue. And I know that you and the mayor really care about making sure that London and economic opportunities, educational are available for everybody. And basketball is really uniquely placed to tackle some of those social justice problems. But then there are so many barriers. I think, when people say, I don't think people understand from the outside the number of structural barriers that exist for basketball to flourish. And that it reflects the audience and populations of people who play the sport. So I'm curious, and I think actually being on that task force actually allows me at least to look at it and say, oh my God, there are a lot of structural barriers. What do you think has come up as your top 2 or 3 that exist? What have you learned from the task force that surprised you?
I mean, not a lot surprised me. I think we knew what some of the barriers were. And what'll be interesting to see is that report that the task force has put together, the state of play report that comes out in January 26th, to kind of really deep dive into those issues.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've said some of it already. You know, some of it is a social justice issue. I think basketball is one of those sports that really align with underserved communities. And I tell you what's really heartbreaking is if you think about resourcing of basketball in this country over the years, it's so badly underfunded and so badly under resourced. Um, and the reason why that is because we don't think it's a sport that we could win medals in at Olympic Games. We don't see the value in kind of like uprooting communities through this sport. Some of that is changing.
Yep.
There's big money coming in, both from central government, from local government, and from private investors like the NBA. But I tell you what's heartbreaking, right? If you think about some of the biggest NBA stars in the world today, the European,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got superstars from France, from Lithuania, from Poland, from Greece, from Spain,
From Haiti. Shout out my
from
Haitians.
Haiti.
It was
Yeah,
three,
exactly.
three,
Right. Okay.
maybe four.
And so, this is London,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why doesn't London have the biggest world-leading basketball superstar in the world? And I tell you why. He or she is probably out there, but because they haven't had access to a court, they haven't had access to coaches, they haven't had access to an academy, they're doing something else.
Yeah.
They're not playing basketball.
Yeah.
And I think that's a shame for all of us. And that's why this task force is so important, because the next NBA superstar has to come from London.
I mean, I think, well, I think there's a couple of things. And there was something, somebody used to say this that I thought was really funny. I was like, in the UK, if LeBron James was born here, the UK would put him on a horse, which is terrible for the horse, but also for LeBron James, because
Or they'll be sailing or somewhere.
exactly. So there is that lack of funding, that lack of physical infrastructure, the lack of high quality clubs is a real issue. But you're right. There should be way more players coming out of London. London should be like France in terms of the kind of talent that's coming out. But one of the unique things that is interesting is, despite all of this, and this should give people, I think, a lot of confidence in its potential. Like, the UK is one of the top places for Division One basketball athletes in the world.
Right.
Like, behind like Canada and the United States. Outside of that, I believe for Division One scholarships, it's one of the top sort of European countries, whatever, which tells you we have all the raw materials.
Yeah.
It's just about having those clubs to be able to sort of do that. And then the second bit that I think is sort of encouraging is, at least from the Lions' perspective, and I think this is growing as in Super League basketball, is creating a home for, because most guys are going to be, there will be a very small number of pro basketball players. That's the function of any elite sport. Some small percentage of them will be OG Anunoby, who plays for the Knicks, who's British, or Prince or Amari Williams, those guys. But then a large number of those people will play in a top European competition where you can make a lot of money, have a very, very good living, have an amazing career. And we haven't historically been able to bring those guys back. And we had Dean Williams on, who's from Bristol, and sort of grew up, played Division One basketball, and now is a very critical part of our team. We've got Mo Salawade and a bunch of guys from sort of London and the UK in general. And this is like, I think the thing that's changing is there are opportunities for guys to make a lot of money playing in Europe, because there are all these amazing European leagues as well. Where I don't know if kids are aware of it, but whatever. I guess the point is that I feel like the opportunity for people in the NBA, but then in other top leagues, to make amazing livings and build great careers, all exist. It's just London needs that infrastructure to sort of create that opportunity for people. It needs that hand up.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, look, everybody thinks that the prize is to go play in the US, right, and be part of the biggest brand and of of basketball.
Yeah.
The reason why we're not there quite there yet, playing in European leagues, etc., is because people just don't know about them.
Yeah.
The Euro Cup and the Euro League up until very recently hasn't been broadcasted in the UK,
Yeah.
right? Those players who are in those leagues haven't really played in London before,
Yeah.
or anywhere in the UK.
Yeah.
Those games of like Final Four are staged in other cities and not London,
Yeah.
and so all of those things together kind of have created this like void because people just don't know about them.
Yeah.
And so that's why the London Lions being in the Euro Cup is number one, great. But we need you in the EuroLeague.
Yeah.
We need you playing at that highest level.
Yeah.
Because a young person who goes to the Copper Box
Yeah.
and watches you play in those tournaments knows about them, dreams about them, wants to train, be coached, and play in those leagues. So it doesn't become a all or nothing NBA scenario.
Yeah.
And when you talked about D1 colleges, I think it's a shame that for you to play elite basketball at that D1 level, you have to go to the United States.
Yeah.
Why could we not have that kind of level, whether it's coaching, facilities, training
Yeah.
here in places like London or other parts of the UK? Because, like I said before, unless you've got like a scholarship, you might not have the ability to travel to the US.
Yeah.
You might not have the ability to leave your family here. And so all of those things together kind of have made this, I'm going to say atmosphere of like, this atmosphere of being able to not change your life through basketball.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that the work that Task Force does, the work that you guys do, the work that the NBA is doing, in making sure that we can create these opportunities for people to not only play basketball at a grassroots level, but at an elite level as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that all makes a ton of sense. My perspective is the biggest reason why none of this works as well as it could work is facilities for top clubs.
Yeah.
That is a sort of a difficult sort of problem that actually you've been incredibly helpful in terms of helping the Lions and to think about how to build it. We've completed phase 1 of our feasibility study. We're now entering into phase 2 of our feasibility study. Why do you think the facility part is really important in London? And how does it fit into the mayor's broader sort of strategic goals? Why is it important, not just from a social impact perspective, but also from an economic perspective?
I think a new facility is so important, not only because it raises your game, right? You have a place where you can train at elite level, but also if you're able to stage bigger games where you have more people coming to attend, you have more money to invest in your team, you have more money to invest in your community. And frankly speaking, there is space for an arena the size that you're looking for in London.
Yeah.
And I think it's a shame that the London Lions, the brand that you have, the work that you do, you don't have somewhere that you can really call a home yet.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to both the mayor and I, is that a big asset that you are to the city, you need to be able to solidify your place, a home for you, that you can not only perform at the best level and your players perform at the best level, but you're able to then take what you have on the court and do everything that you do around it. So you can use those facilities for community days, coaching young people, bringing up the new talent who will play for the Lions, but play for even bigger teams as well. And so all of those things together are really important. It's not easy to build an arena. You know that. I know that. This city is the greatest city in the world, and it should have the greatest facilities in the world for the greatest basketball teams in the world.
Yeah. And how many teams do you think London can?
I mean, look, I think we're a city of 7 Premier League teams, right?
Yeah.
And each of them do fantastic. There's some of them who are at the top of the league. There's some of them in the middle of the league. We haven't had a Premier team been regulated for relegated for a while. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, look, if there's space for 7 Premier League teams, there's space for more basketball teams. The one thing I would say is, like, you know, any new team that comes into either domestic cups or European cups, they're not a burden for you. They're an opportunity for you to raise your game and to be the best team in London.
Well, from my perspective, like, there shouldn't be any London-based teams that don't have the aspiration to reflect like the globalism of the city. If you're not trying to be a EuroLeague or Champions League, or if there's NBA Europe team, this isn't the city for you. That's my personal perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think competition is a good thing. And I think the London Lions love a bit of competition and shine from it.
I think so. I think so too. How do you? So there's NBA Europe. It is coming. And I know you guys are really enthusiastic about it. I am. I'm crazy about basketball. I've been obsessed with the NBA since I was 6 years old. How do you sort of, and there's a lot of sort of press reports about, the NBA wanting a team in London, a team in Manchester. How do you kind of view that, and what are the ways in which the city are going to support that club?
Yeah, I mean, I think what the NBA European League is going to do is just elevate basketball in this continent, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's really exciting. One, because I think there's going to be a huge amount of investment into the city.
Yep.
And my challenge to the NBA is, like, let's not just create a team. Let's create an entire kind of like community program around it as well.
Like what the Lions are doing.
Exactly what the Lions are doing, right? And it's just what I said to you just now, Lenz, right? If a new team enters London's market, right, what it does is it pushes you to do better, right? Yeah. And if the London Lions are doing better, I reckon you are in a position where you're competing at the highest levels in the European League, in the Euro Cups, and domestically as well. And I think the opportunity is, like, if players see the level of basketball in London, they're gonna want to play here. Yeah, they're going to invest here. They want to move their families here. Yeah. And so I think that's just great for everyone. Yeah. So I welcome it and bring it on.
Yeah. Huh? You are a Lions fan.
Indeed.
Tough start to the sort of Euro Cup. A lot of injuries. We were just talking about it. And I know you're going to come to the game against Besiktas on Wednesday, which is really, really, we love having you. You probably have heard me curse way too much at referees. Why do you?
It doesn't. He's great. No fines. Yeah.
That's right. What do you think about the season so far? What do you hoping that we're gonna get in terms of the table? What do you think domestically and Euro Cup? What is your expectation for this?
I mean, domestically, I want the trophy to come home. Yeah. Okay. And sit, in the London cabinet.
That was a tough one to have Sadiq watch us lose in the semifinals to Newcastle.
I was like, you had one job to do, Len, is to not lose when I bring my boss to his first London Lions game.
Yeah. You can blame Paul Blake for that, Mark Strudel. Yeah. It's their fault.
And so look, domestically, we should win, right? Yep. And the team is there. It's primed to win. The Euro Cup is it's a tough competition, and you've had some really early injuries. But you have a great squad. And you know this better than I do. Yeah. This second half of the season is the most important. Yeah. And every point matters. Yeah. Every quarter matters. And I know your team knows that. I know your coach knows that. Yeah. And so and the fans know it too. And the fans are going to be there, cheering you on every step of the way.
Do you have a favorite Lions player?
Do I have a favorite Lions player? You're gonna get me into trouble. I mean, look, I love Aaron Ray. He is. I mean, everything that he's. Not only is he the MVP, I like what he stands for. I like I like that he's from the background that he is. my son will look at someone like Aaron Wright, be like, okay, he looks like me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I could play basketball at that level.
Yeah.
I love everything that he stands for. I have loads of London Lion favorites.
I thought you were gonna say Josh Sharma and Aaron Wright. Those were the two.
I mean, look, I think this. What I'd say is Aaron Wright won. If we go back a couple of years, I love watching AB Aaron West. He was a great player.
Lefty. Yep.
He was fantastic, and he used to also really engage with the fans as well.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic. My challenge to you and your front office is we need Sam Decker back. Let's bring back the legend.
Shout out Martinez. We loved. I mean, Sam was and Olivia. They're amazing. I mean, they're just great people, and they really did bring a level of like interest, I think, globally to the game, and they were clutch. Obviously, that big game. One thing I'd say about Aaron Wright that's like so impressive is this guy. His story is, for folks who don't know it, he's a Dartmouth grad, Canadian kid of Southeast Asian origins. And then he, plays at Dartmouth Division I, comes here, gets his master's degree, plays at the lower league level, MVP, then MVP at Cheshire, and absolutely is killing the Lions in our domestic competitions. We bring him in. He's kind of the star of our player, MVP of the league.
Yeah.
And then he comes into this role because we've got, next level of player, and he embraces the idea that he's like, I want to get better every single day against better players, better competitions. And he's been huge for us in a bit of a different role for European competition. So I can see why he's
he's great.
He's a good.
Yeah, I mean, your squad is fantastic. You've got some of your younger players are great. Some of your Londoners are great.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got someone like Ovi who brings eyeballs to the game. Out on and off the court.
Yeah.
So,
and we've got a lot of Londoners. I mean, Adamu, Barking Abbey,
right,
Kola kid. Ovi obviously is a London kid. Kieran Sandy, and there's just a lot of really cool players on the team. Okay, cool.
you were already trying to test me there, weren't you?
I was. I already knew it was Aaron. I could tell your son was a fan as well, so that was really cool. In terms of what are your expectations for the Lions as a club? What does the mayor want the Lions to do? How do we make sure that
what does the mayor want the Lions to do?
I mean, return.
What the mayor wants is he wants London to be the greatest city in the world, right? And we are, right? We're the world's capital of sport. And so what he'd want from the London Lions to be the best basketball team in the world. And there's your ambition, right? And so not only are you going to win domestic leagues, you're going to win European leagues. We want people in New York to wear London Lion jerseys,
exactly.
Not Knicks jerseys. And so that's that level.
Hats. I saw you guys you and Sadiq were wearing London Lions hats.
So that's the level of ambition, right? We want your brand to be global. And so we want the LDN and that London merchandise to be all around the world, because when people wear it, they're representing our city, and we are the best city in the world.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Nadeem, thanks for coming on, man.
It's a pleasure to have you.
And I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right.